believe it? Just 18 days away from deciding the fate of America. America has seen what it's needed to see. And there have been times in this country when we said nothing will change in the country either way, no matter the outcome. But that is not the case in this election cycle. 2024, completely different from things we've seen in the past. That was once true, or at least that has been true in some cases. This candidate, that candidate, not a significant difference because, frankly, they were each and all dutiful members of the swamp. What I'm trying to say there is, for years, for decades, probably since the founding, as we've talked about this before, my opinion is it's been Republicans and Democrats, right? It's a two-party system, which I think is insane, crazy, but it's the only way you can get around the rules, the Federal Election Committee rules. It's been Republican and Democrat for so long that the two of them got so comfortable with each other, they've become one. It's a uniparty, even though they've been separated. So you got the ball, Republicans, right now. Democrats are like, okay, we'll just wait for our turn. They get elected the next cycle or two cycles down the road. They got the ball. Republicans keep their mouths shut because they're going to get the ball back at some point. It's been going on that way for too long. Trump comes in. He's not one of either of these two parties. He's a unique politician. America's never seen anyone like Trump. He upset this cozy little relationship between the two parties, and that's why there are so many people that dislike Trump. There's a pro-Trump wing of the Republican Party. There's a very, very strong anti-Trump wing of Republicans, and we know liberals hate him. So he's fighting really an uphill battle. Would things have been that much more different if the recount in Florida in 2000 had gone another way? George Bush, I don't know, progeny of neocons and warmongers, or Al Gore, the extension of the centrist Bill Clinton. I'm not even sure which one would have been better, Clinton or George Bush, too. Sure, Gore has always liked to tell lies about inventing the internet and win unwarranted Oscars and prizes for lying and fear-mongering about the climate, but when it really came down to it, each and every single candidate was basically cut from the same cloth until Trump came along. Lifelong members of the swamp making internal deals, backdoor deals, behind closed doors, smoking cigars, ignoring the American voters' wants and needs, because as we all know, it all changed when Barack Obama came along. In the smallest of ways, Obama was revolutionary at the time, if only because he believed America. The lies that he told in the run-up to becoming president, America bought into that Obama BS. Remember, you got to think about this. He comes along as a senator, young senator from Illinois, and says, I'm going to fundamentally change America. What? What are you going to change? We have the strongest economy in the world. We have the strongest military in the world. We have... But he was all about race, wasn't he? His presidency laid the groundwork for this type of moment right here.
Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks? With these claims that Trump is surging with Black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men, too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent and seek positions of power.
So Joy Reid makes it about race because that's what they love to do, and then she calls Trump, or compares Trump to Hitler. You see, part of the leftist need to control the narrative and the agenda is to either distort and stretch the truth or just outright lie about the reality right before our eyes. Leftists lie because they know they can't get their policies through, the ones that would kill American law, our society, the very fabric of the country. So they lie, and they're good at it. And they get bailed out by the media. The media is supposed to hold truth to power. The media is protected in the Constitution, First Amendment. No other industry or business or job title is protecting the Constitution, but the media is. The media is because they were supposed to keep an eye on D.C., the people making decisions for our well-being. I suppose when you practice any skill long enough, you can become pretty good at it. and lying is no exception. And they've been sharpening that skill for years. And let me tell you, Barack Obama, the quintessential pioneer, a trailblazer in the art of fundamentally changing America, perfectly good America, a global leader on so many fronts. The economy, we win globally. On the military, we win globally. As far as a stable system of law and order, we win globally. That is, if somehow we keep the Obama doctrine of crushing American exceptionalism out of office. And that means no more Joe Biden, also AKA Obama 3.0, and a big old no way, Jose, to Kamala Harris, AKA Obama 4.0. We now know Obama for what he is and for what he did to the country, the race baiting, the division stoking, all the stuff Joyless Joy Reid says now all stems from Barack Obama, a former president who still controls the levers of the current president and potentially the future Madam President. Let's hope not. But once upon a time, when running for president, Barack Obama positioned himself differently when it comes to race in America. He presented himself as a moderate. What? After he won on a campaign filled with slogan words like change and hope, which sound startlingly familiar with the current joy being peddled by comrade Kamala Harris. But then Obama would go on to create the violent party we see now. For 8 straight years, he fanned the flames of racial division. You can thank Barack Obama for the summer of mostly peaceful riots in 2020. Obama and Black Lives Matter have set race relations in this country back 100 years, all in the name of politics and power. Believe that. And they're doing it again. They don't care if what they say actually creates hate in this country, the left's hate of this country, and yet they want to control it and run it into the ground. But why? Why is there so much hate for America within America by Americans? And why are they always the ones that hate America on the left? You know, many or most who flee their own countries and come here will often say that America is the greatest country in the world. There's more opportunity here than anywhere else in the world. There's more freedom and equality here than anywhere else on this planet, period. And they're right. That is a fact. Those who've been lucky enough to come here, this country, and are allowed to legally stay here and pursue the opportunities afforded here, we ask them, are they grateful, by the way? Those are the people Donald Trump was talking about earlier this week, legal immigrants. And those very immigrants will likely tell you stories about the hardships and even the horrors they've faced in the countries they've fled from. In some or many cases, freedoms were stifled, abject poverty, little to no access to resources, and the common theme is this one. They came over here and they love America. They're proud to be here. And the strife it takes to get here is often worth it to them and then some, which is why it's so difficult to understand how or why those who were born here or have lived here for most of their lives do not appreciate what the country is and what it stands for and what it has to offer them. And what's worse, to add insult to injury, they despise this place. They downplay the opportunity offered here. They castigate the existing system of democracy and they attack capitalism. They insult, they accuse, they teach children to be ashamed of our own country, of America, of their own skin. They teach children to be racist against other children. No more singing the Star-Spangled Banner. What? No more I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. What? The love of country is being attacked, and I believe that this self-deprecation is in large part, the downfall of America. We can't survive another 4 years under Democrat rule, under Obama and Soros controls. It's that stark. You know what they're not doing outside of America? You know what they're not doing in places like Russia or China? People outside of the West are not teaching their children to hate their own country. In fact, quite the opposite. And you know why they're not doing that? Because they know that a society that despises itself cannot survive. It's a well-known adage among communists, divide and conquer. When the U.S. Attorney General, Merrick Garland comes out and says that we shouldn't question the Department of Justice, insinuating that doing so is un-American, really? Well, he's doing the most un-American thing possible. Questioning your government is just about the most democratic thing you can do. It's a core tenet of democracy. It's essential. And the minute we stop doing so, is when we fall in line with the oligarchy, or worse, with some of history's most evil totalitarian regimes. You know what I'm talking about. And it starts from the very top. Our president actively hates America. Joe Biden doesn't love this country. Maybe he once did. I don't know. Not sure. But now he actively stokes the flames of racism and division. Kamala Harris carries that torch forward. I wouldn't change a thing, she says. Not a thing. Barack Obama berates black men for not voting for Harris because she's a woman of color. And somehow it's their obligation. Forget democracy. Forget voting based on your convictions, your needs, your wants for the country, your wants for your family. Forget all that. Vote for her because she's black and a woman. It's about race, stupid.
Communities is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
So, I don't know if you heard that, but President Obama said Kamala Harris grew up like you, except Kamala Harris didn't grow up like them. A middle-class child in Canada. And Joy Reid says that even if you're Hispanic or black, if you vote Republican, you're a fascist. That's not even remotely loving this country or possessing what we need for the republic to exist and stand for going forward. Our own president attacks those who would not vote for him. If you didn't vote for Joe Biden, or if you oppose Biden and his bad policies and numerous mistakes, he'll even ignore your city, despite the fact that a major disaster takes place. A massive hurricane strikes red counties and cities, but little to no money or help for you. But $425 million additional just went to Ukraine this week. $425 million just went to Ukraine this week by Joe Biden. Joe Biden speaks kinder words about China than he does about half this country and the whole of America. He gives more love to the likes of Ukraine than his own country. I wonder why. Hold here for a second. I wonder why. Why is Joe Biden giving $130 or $140 billion to Ukraine? Why is this happening? Is there something coming back? There must be something coming back. Because, folks, you know, prior to this war, Ukraine was one of the most dirty countries on the planet. Ukraine was the money laundering country for Russian oligarchs. They'd run money through Ukraine. I don't know. Is Biden sending money over there because there's a kickback? I don't know. I have no idea. And this American-hating attitude and agenda was well in the works with the political ascent of his predecessor, Barack Obama. Obama sought to take down America, to do away with American exceptionalism. He warned us, and he did it. Truly, no one hates America more than a Democrat does. And if the progressive left have their way, there will be no longer American flags flying. Remember when Obama flanked the pride flag on the White House with American flags? That's never supposed to happen. The Old Glory American flag is supposed to fly proudly in the middle. You put other flags for whatever reason, you're doing an event, they flank it. Obama put the U.S. flag on both sides of the pride flag. only pride ones, or Ukraine flags, or flags filled with messages of hate and division, even supporting a terrorist organization like Hamas. If you listen to the Democrats, if you believe the leftist squadsters, then you believe their false notions that our country is a country of systemic racism. All of a sudden, the America and Americans are evil, they say, specifically Trump voters or conservatives or MAGA people. You might be a MAGA, Make America Great Again. You might be America First and not a Trump voter, but they hate you too. What does that tell you? Trump says it best. What's wrong with Make America Great Again? Shouldn't everyone want that? Or that voting laws meant to protect the democratic voting process are now somehow Jim Crow, right? Those are slanderous lies against his own country. We should sue Obama for defamation and Biden. They make claims that so-called MAGA extremists are making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. But many studies have proven otherwise. In fact, Democrats have consistently voted against the SAVE Act, which prevents non-citizens from voting. Wow, that's the bare minimum of protecting our elections. And Democrats, they have no interest in that. They're pushing against the SAVE Act. All the SAVE Act says is prove that you're an American citizen before you vote. And again, we talked about it all week. The Biden administration, Freudian but accurate, the Obama-Biden administration is suing the state of Virginia because Governor Youngkin wants to pull illegals from the voting ranks. Can you imagine the federal government is suing a state to allow illegals to vote? It's happening, folks. I'm not making it up. Look it up. I'm sorry, but asking for a government ID before exercising one of the most important actions as an American citizen that you can carry out in a democracy, well, that is not only common sense, but it's actively protecting our elections. That's the core of America. Our country, our pride, those things are at stake, and the president of this country, the head of the Democrat Party, and every single Democrat on the way down would have you lose your trust and love of America just to win the vote for them. I'm actually scratching my head here, but what kind of America do they, the left, actually want? Well, we know what kind of America they want. They're horrified by any of the symbols of this country. The patriotic symbols like the American flag somehow now represents white supremacy and racism to many on the left. Can you imagine that? Our flag, and even crushing your heart to honor our flag, are somehow synonymous with evil to them. And their version of progress is always about destroying the country, tearing the fabric, ripping the flag up or burning it. But it doesn't even matter because the laws and the Constitution protect us no matter what. And what a beautiful thing that is. Even Democrats, despite their many attempts, can't do a damn thing about it. I love this country, and I know you do too. We've seen what we need to see, and now just 18 days away, we vote like the fate of the republic depends on it. All right, don't forget, send me a voicemail. Put the screen up, 888-601-0032. It's toll free. I don't do a thing with that other than listen to them and kind of produce a show around what you want to hear, what you like, what you don't like. Remember, leave your name, where you're from, leave a short message. We'll play some of them as we do when we have time. And also subscribe to the show wherever, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to it or watching it. Just hit subscribe. It's free. It just helps us out. Make sure you're aware when another episode comes up. That's it. Wish me luck. Couple of wisdom teeth coming out in a few minutes. I'll be back Monday. We'll see how that works out. Have a great weekend. Couple of days left till the election. Be careful. And remember, always bet against any team that's playing the Jets or the Giants. Bowling out.